countdown has begun. We're about to start moving into this PVT best of 3.
All right, so the first map here is going to be Daybreak, and I'll let you know what the other maps are going to be in just a couple of moments' time. But of course, Taeja playing as Terran representing Korea, Sase representing Sweden here in Valencia. Let's see how this is going to shape out as we now are going to load into the game in just a couple of moments' time.
And Taeja can be very aggressive on this map as well. He's shown it from time to time, so we'll see what he offers here. But looks like we're just about all loaded up, and here we go. Down, actually up here at the top right-hand corner of Daybreak, we have our red Protoss player from Quantic Gaming wearing the tag very, very hot. It is Sase. And his opponent in the lower left-hand corner, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid, one of the best players in the world right now, Taeja.
Some of the real key strengths of Taeja is, of course, his ability to control units like nobody else. His ghost snipes without, because right now, the way that you control ghosts and medivacs, marines, Vikings, is you want to have them on, well, Taeja has them on 3 different control groups, 1, 2, and 3. The marine, marauder, and medivacs on control group 1, the Vikings on control group 2, and then the ghosts on control group 3, or some variation of that. And the thing is that he switches between all 3 control groups so fluidly with no breakups, no mishaps. He's able to snipe, pull back, pull the Vikings back, move in with Vikings, spread the Vikings, stem his units to be aggressive, to move forward and so on. And that unit control, you don't really see that often. And the way that Taeja does it out, he rarely actually takes a shower in the storms that Protoss players love to put across.
You're absolutely right. I mean, between sniping the Templar out and just pure splitting up his bioforces, he is a master in controlling his armies as the game wears on. So Sase going to get a pretty good look of his opponent's base, decided to get out there with a very quick scout. It is going to be a barracks first. We have seen in this tournament alone that Sase is willing to start cannon rushing if he feels the time is right, if he sees a quick command center or finds that he has an opening to punish his opponent.
Yeah, we casted his games against a Muslim, and that's exactly what happened there earlier on in the second group stage. But we do have Sase going into the main base here with this probe, and we'll get full information, knowing that Taeja on a big map like Daybreak, a big distance between main base to the main base of Sase is relatively large. Therefore, he knows that the command center will be the natural follow-up here for Taeja.
You know, and I can kind of see why Sase's style would work against Taeja. We mentioned that he is 4-0 against him recently. He plays a very disruptive style. He doesn't want to keep opponent on their game, and he wants to make sure that his opponent kindly always off-kilter, needing to forcing more decisions out of him than he would like to make at any given point in time.
Sase's taken a second gas here that you don't actually see that very often, and with a second gas being taken, I don't really think he's going to tech on a map this big, especially because the SCV is going to go in there. But I think he may start to bank up bank up gas to use for sentry production, and may actually use them in an aggressive stance here. Taeja does go in, see 2 probes in each geyser. Very open to what Sase could be doing here, and it means anything. I think he's going to throw down the Nexus and maybe build up towards an aggression push with gateways.
Yeah, we'll find out here. He was hiding the probe behind the mineral line for a second. Taeja, of course, just powering ahead at the moment. He's got a bunker coming up at the front. He wants to make sure he's not going to take any unnecessary damage. And of course, 2 more barracks are on the way now before any sort of gas hits. Pretty normal stuff, though, from Taeja.
And we actually see a Stalker coming out from Sase. He's not banking up with energy from the first sentry. But we'll see what his follow's going to be. As you can see, he's actually got 200 gas in the bank already at this stage of the game. That's quite a lot.
We've also seen that Sase has a willingness to open with something like this, show his opponent one thing, and then actually take 3 Nexuses. He has done that in the past. Now, though, he's keeping the Stalker just patrolling around and making sure that all of the pathways are clear, that nothing is going to escape his vision. Double Refinery coming down for Taeja, though, as he will start to move into his tech labs and eventual upgrades.
And we do see an SCV down the south side here, looking to get some more information. Is there going to be, you know, some kind of mishap or miscommunication between SCV and the information with what's going on? And oh, we actually see a Twilight Council coming down here. The Stalker's going to deny the SCV scout from getting anywhere past this 3rd base. And with that Twilight Council coming down, this is going to be a Dark Templar opening here for Sase.
We have seen DT Expanse come back into popularity a little bit, and this would be no exception here. Taeja does have an engineering bay already on the way, and because it looked like he knew about his opponent, he knew kind of his style, had put up that bunker nice and early at the front, maybe he'll be prepared there with a turret as well, but it's going to require a pretty good read on his part.
I mean, Taeja has seen the double gases. He knows that it's either going to be like a gateway push or some form of pretty fast tech here. And oh no, look at that, it's actually going to be a Templar Archives coming down incredibly fast. I actually have not seen this down. Oh, a scan. Does it see it?
Yes, it does. So he knows the Templar Archives is out there. We had seen a variation of the strategy, of course, over the past few days, going to Gateway into Templar Tech, making sure you prioritize Storm. But unfortunately for Sase, this is a brilliant read by Taeja. He knows everything that's going on.
And that is the fastest Templar Archives I've ever seen in this matchup before. That is so fast before the second gases are even taken on the natural here. But what really is it going to mean for Sase? Now it's been scouted out. I'm sure that after the factory's been built, Ghost will enter this game early on. If not, Ghost don't enter the game early on, a Stalker falls down. We'll see a lot of production coming down for Taeja, making sure he has more than enough to weather the storm.
That was a big win there for Taeja, picking that off. And look at this, he goes around the side. He wants to make sure that he's not going to be caught by those sentries, which are already starting to queue up next to the ramp that leads into the natural. So Taeja has an opening to get in and do some damage. Back at home, he's got his factory on the way, +1 weapons, stim as well. He's investing into double reactors, so he can continue with very heavy marine production.
And already the first High Templar is out, and it is now confirmed by Taeja without having to rescan, knows that it wasn't cancelled, knows that it is there, and he also knows his opponent's teching incredibly fast, so there's no wonder why he's out on the map. Ooh, those Marines actually could have got up there. That could have been a little bit tense, but as I was saying, with Taeja moving out on the map so freely like this is because that was the fastest tech that anybody's seen here. So he knows that the sentry count is low, the gateway count is low, but with Storm almost ready, and Gateway's coming down, are we going to see a massive 2-base Storm attack? And I think that's the only thing it can be.
Yeah, I mean, he's already queuing up those Templar, like you said, so they're going to gather energy. They're going to be ready for multiple storms whenever the time comes. There's 5 more gateways on the way, so it's going to be a total of 7 gates with High Templar. Already a Ghost Academy being thrown down for Taeja as he wants to be able to move in and get some EMPs out on the field.
Wow, this is really unique here, and Taeja's going to be a long way from actually getting Ghosts out, but with 7 gateways in total, or 8 gateways, with 5 being constructed, 3 already down, and 8 gateway attack with Storms, Sase has no intention of playing this game out long. He wants to win this game right now. The Marine sees the probe. Now there has to be multiple bunkers coming down, like 3 bunkers in total to defend this, because Storm is going to be so big. Right now there is no additional bunkers coming down by Taeja, and Sase is going to be hitting with a unique strategy and attack.
He really is. Mobius Reactor coming up for those Ghosts now as he will start to move into increased energy. Tries to pick off that probe, but unfortunately can't do it. 4 Templar sitting in the middle with 4 more on the way. This is going to be a total of 8 High Templar here in a second. We'll see what Sase can do with that, but Taeja just running around the side now. He does have a couple of medevacs in tow. He's actually going to completely bypass this force.
And he doesn't care. He actually sees about all the army on the other side of the map, and he's still going to go for it here. What does Sase do? Is he going to go back? Is he going to defend? We're going to have this weird little situation now because Taeja's going for it at the same time as Sase marching towards his opponent's front door.
A 10-minute Storm Archon base trade with Ghost being produced back at home. This is so weird. He's going to go right after the Nexus, though. That's actually going to die very quickly. Nice position up on the top of the ramp, but he actually eats 1 Storm pretty well. That's a lot of damage being done by Sase. He's not able to catch many forces with the Force Field, actually filtering all of his Zealots through one at a time. That was kind of counterintuitive, but he still has so many Archons here to punish this force.
And that was beautiful from Taeja to pick off those snipes on those High Templars so incredibly fast, but I don't even know how this game is going to go. The SCVs are fighting against Archons. That's disastrous. The SCVs are going to melt incredibly fast. They all fall down. What is this game?
But the Archons are destroyed, and Taeja is still carrying a little bit of an advantage. A Dark Shrine is coming up right now for Sase. He's trying to produce that, but it doesn't matter. That's GG. Taeja is taking game number 1.
Taeja picks up the first map here against Sase, and what a weird first game that was between these two guys. Sase trying something a little bit unique, a little bit special there, but Taeja just wiping the floor.
I love the idea to go for the base trade, though, and not engage the army straight up, because if he had sat under a couple of storms or even those Archons for just a couple of shots, he would have been done.
All right, so the great first victory there for Taeja. Let's have a quick look at the bracket here to just look over the games that have been played so far and the games upcoming. We do see STC and 4GG in the first semi-final of the day, with Taeja picking up the first win against Sase, and we will be extending this into a best of 3, of course, and then after, Hero will be going up against Taeja.
That's right, and if Taeja does end up taking the next game, it will be 3 Terrans out of 3 already in the semi-finals. They've had a very good performance here to begin with, but of course, we are guaranteed a non-TVT in the semi-finals as Hero and Taeja still have to go up against each other.
All right, well, that was a very fast game, wasn't it?
All right, well, that's game number 1 of the books. I kind of expect something equally crazy in game number 2. It may stretch a little bit longer, but of course, Sase does play towards a kind of unique, fun strategy. So it looks like we're just resolving a couple of issues at the moment. Sase's booth is open, so I assume that something's getting worked out, but hopefully we'll be moving into game number 2 soon.
We will do. So make sure to go to Twitter and hashtag the event DHVLC, DreamHack Valencia, of course, that means, and tell everybody to watch it, tell everybody to tune in. There's a lot of fun happening here. DreamHack providing all the entertainment for you guys back at home. And a lot more awesome games to come up. We do have Liquid Hero coming up after this, and then going immediately into the first semi-final of the day. And, well, I'm having fun, at least.
I am having a brilliant amount of fun. It's my first time here in Europe, and it's a pleasure to be casting for DreamHack, and especially alongside you, Sean.
But, thank you.
Oh, no problem. But we have quite a few matches left to resolve. Like we said, we're not going to be taking that many breaks, or any extended breaks, I should say, until the very end, the finals. It's best of 3 the entire way, best of 5 finals. 70,000 Swedish krona to first place, 40,000 to second, 20,000 to both third and fourth. 20 points in the DreamHack circuit to our third and fourth place finishers. But of course, those all-important automatic invites to the tournament to those who finish first and second.
And the next map is Cloud Kingdom. The final map, if need be, will be Ohana. So there's the next 2 maps coming up for this best of 3 series. Just waiting to get into this in a couple of seconds' time there. But wow, what an explosive start to this best of 3, and it could only get better.
All right, well, we're going to see what both these players have to offer. It looks like we do have a bit of a technical difficulty on our hands, but things are going to get resolved here momentarily. But I don't know. I mean, the map is going to be Cloud Kingdom. We already know that strong 2-base play can work here, but we have seen some protracted, pretty long PVTs out here as well. Yeah,
I mean, Cloud Kingdom can be played in many different ways, actually, and it's all going to come down to Sase. I don't really think that Taeja is going to really do anything special here. I think he's going to play his own game, Command Center first or Barracks Command Center. Well, actually, on a map like Cloud Kingdom, I would not be surprised if Taeja opens up with a refinery. Opens up by saying, hey, it's a 2-play map. It's relatively small between these 2 bases. What am I going to bring to you initially? Take a guess, because you don't know which one's going to come. And I think that actually, now actually having a couple of seconds to think about it, I think that's how Taeja will be opening this next game.
That's right. And Taeja, of course, taking that game is the first game he's won against Sase recently. And Sase, as we mentioned before, was 4-0 against him in the past. So certainly a good confidence booster for Taeja, if nothing else. But the guy has been absolutely on top of his game to begin with.
Yeah, indeed. And the decision-making from Taeja on that last game was actually pretty spectacular. Being able to send units across the map like that and then defend inside his main base rather than building bunkers to defend the natural. You know, only a few people can make clear-cut decisions like that, and he's definitely one of them.
That's right. Well, you know, if Taeja takes this next game, we have 3 Korean Terran players in the semifinals. It's starting to look like GSL from about the end of 2010 through most of 2011, but still some very good players left in this. I'm really looking forward to the next set. Don't forget, after this set is done, we'll have our final round of 8 match that is going to be Liquid Hero versus Taeja. And Taeja, of course, has just been on a great run throughout this whole tournament. He has his work cut out for him in Liquid Hero, but maybe could provide one additional upset for us.
Indeed, it could be. We'll have to find out if that's going to happen, or if Liquid Hero is going to make his way to another potential DreamHack victory. Could be in the history of DreamHack if he's able to win 2 events. I mean, there's only, I don't think actually nobody in the time of DreamHack is able to win 2 DreamHack events. He could be the first person to actually accomplish something like that.
All right, we'll see if he can do just that. But for now, we still have this match to resolve. Looks like things are underway now. The booth is closed, which means we should be heading into the game here momentarily. And both our players are queued up and ready to go.
All right, so it looks like both of these guys, as you said already, Sase has said go, and likewise has Taeja. We're going to be going into the next map in just a couple of seconds' time. Cloud Kingdom, the destination for the second map of this best of three. The best of three will continue to the next set, of course, then into the semi-finals before we actually up it to a best of 5 grand finals here in Valencia.
I'm looking forward to that, but the countdown has begun, so we are moving in to game number 2 here. We're going to see if Sase can tie things up against Liquid Taeja, or if Taeja can close things out for a quick 2-0. And there we have it. The loading screen is going, and we're going to be moving into this here in just a second. Taeja has just looked unstoppable in tournaments lately. Sase certainly has a chance here and is trying to turn things around, but man, Taeja is pretty good. All right, so here we are, guys, and down at the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, we have our red Protoss player from Quantic Gaming trying to tie things back up. It is Sase. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, our blue Terran player up 1-0 from Team Liquid. It is Taeja.
All right, so Cloud Kingdom, pretty sure we're going to be seeing a refinery build by Taeja. I mean, he could easily go 1 barracks command center, nothing against that at all. But I think on a map like this that is going to keep Sase guessing, especially being ahead. You always want to keep your opponent guessing when you're ahead. In this situation, Sase has to play clear cut. He has to go and win this game. And if Taeja makes that difficult for him, just by giving options available that he has to guess from, that would be nice for Taeja moving into the mid stages.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But, you know, Taeja just seems to have brilliant decision-making. I mean, last go-around, he saw an unconventional 2-base Storm build against his opponent. He really didn't know what, what was coming at him, so he decided to just turn around and go for his opponent's base.
And there is Sase representing Sweden. Here in Valencia, Taeja, of course, representing Korea. We already have a couple of Korean semi-finalists already. Are we going to have a Swede to conquer? That's what we're here to find out. And, well, we don't have a gas coming down by Taeja yet, so it looks like he's just going to go 1 barracks command center. Well, actually, no, sorry, he's got a 2nd barracks coming, isn't he, on the right-hand side here? Oh, no, sorry.
No, just the one, just the one. Yeah. All right, so 1 barracks coming up, and he has bypass gas for a period of time. You know, Taeja doesn't like going for a conventional 1 racks gasless fast expanse unless he's kind of forced into it or feels like he should. So he's going to do it his own way, if nothing else, and hide that barracks for as long as possible. Yeah,
Sase's not scouting, though, so it won't really take too much of an effect in this game. But with Taeja moving out with this SCV, we'll be looking to see if double gases is taken again. If we will be seeing some form of tech, some form of gas, sentry, exposed build. But as this SCV makes its way out, no 2nd gas has been taken by Sase, so it seems so far like it's just going to be a very regular 1 gateway expand play.
And that's about what I would expect. He tried something crazy in the last game, but it didn't work out all that well for him. Really relies on being able to catch his opponent's units caught out a little bit, but Taeja just flying to his opponent's base and saying, all right, I'll base trade you, I'm not worried about it. Kind of caught Sase even off guard.
And that Zealot does get 2 swipes. Nice little swiping movement by Sase. And he will be getting the Stalker out in a couple of moments' time to deny the scouting through this SCV that is in the base that could potentially see Sase throw down additional gateways, which is probably the rare occasion that that's actually going to happen.
2 Stalkers being chrono boosted out very quickly, so Sase going to try and put on at least a little bit of 1 gate pressure, but Taeja does already have a bunker up at the front, and with the Marines in there, they'll equal the range of the Stalker, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Taeja actually already running to the bottom of the ramp and starting to ward away that Zealot, and scoots back because he knows that Sase is bringing him back into the range of a Stalker.
Yeah, and with the bunker now finished up, this is not going to do anything, of course, for Sase. And he may try run by just to see the command center. He does see the command center, so he's confirmed what his opponent's doing. Does bring down that SCV. And with a 2nd Stalker around now, that's going to be to deny scouting. In case there is another SCV out there somewhere, there's the one we just saw come back. That could have still been out there. That could still be looking to get in there. As we see, Sase has not actually taken the 2nd gas yet. Nope. And that's interesting because he's thrown down another gateway. And he's going to throw down the 3rd one as well before taking a 2nd gas. And when you look at this kind of situation, you realize your opponent's gone 1 barracks command center, and Sase's confirmed that. Then why is Sase building gateways unless he has an intention to be aggressive? Because he could be using this time to tech up faster. It's not like he needs gateway units to defend against anything, so he may actually be aggressive with this.
And we talk about little advantages that Taeja can gain for himself. Right there, I don't know if you saw, but just the unit positioning and bringing back the hurt Marines the way he did, keeping forward the healthy ones, almost picking off a Zealot as he forces it away. Just unbelievable little play from Taeja. But Sase's got a very solid strategy, a very tried and true strategy coming coming down, 2 more gateways, robotics facility following that up. He is going to have a very, very powerful army in a bit.
Yeah, he's not actually using the gateways for aggression. He is actually just playing ultimately safe here.
Right.
Even though it doesn't make too much sense to be super, super safe, but then if you think about it, he is trailing 0-1. If there were any non-gas, very heavy bio, lots of barracks, lots of Marines, maybe some SCVs, the double gateway is actually going to help out a lot. And there we do see the choice of Sase and how he's going to play this out. It is going to be double forge, going double upgrades nice and early on, and most likely going to be going for Colossus from here. He could still branch away into a Twilight Council, but the most likelihood now is going for that early Colossus and just protecting his economy and also his upgrade lead.
Very reminiscent of old Creator Prime play, who used to love this style, taking two forges very early on, then just saving up and taking a third as he moves out with a couple of Colossi, but staying very defensive and making sure that he can't die to drops in the meantime. But Taeja's pushing out with some pretty good forces, and Sase, with those defensive gateways up, he hasn't made a unit in a while, but he immediately warps in a Sentry and a couple of Zealots back at home.
And a Sentry and a couple of Zealots keeps him away from going straight into 1-1. So, and that's just because Taeja moved out across the map and Taeja just returns home. So if you look at how Taeja played that out, he actually gained a little bit of an advantage there, delaying the 1-1 upgrades from Sase, which are now being made after those units were constructed. And we see double engineering bay down for Taeja anyway, so things are looking okay. Is Sase definitely going to go Colossus though? It's not certain. He is about to have 200 gas, and with that 200 gas, is he going to use it in the robotics bay, or are we going to see some form of immortal play into third base? All right, it is going to be confirmed for Colossus.
That's right, so playing this slow Creator Prime style to a hilt, he is going to have very slow play into Colossi, but it's going to work out pretty well for him. He's even got multiple observers out, just like Creator Prime would, making sure he keeps tabs on everything. Of course, we know that Taeja is an observer sniper, though. He tends to find all of them. He's expanding up to his third, but of course producing those 1-1 upgrades not too far after his opponent. Despite the fact that he doesn't have Chrono Boost to make them a little bit quicker, he'll still be pretty caught up in upgrades. Three more gates on the way for Sase as well for a total of 6.
I was just going to say that location for the third command center is actually really smart, because how often is an observer going to go scout over there? It's going to get in the main base, and especially if Taeja misses the observer for some reason. I think he's seen it though, as he is marching his Marines to the Zelnaga Tower, but there are a couple of units there that Sase has to be careful of. I wonder if Taeja's going to get the snipe on that observer, because it's not going to cross pass with that command center no matter what though.
And it doesn't look like he has any units to bring by very quickly. I mean, he's investing so much into upgrades, his infrastructure, the armory, more barracks, the command center. Didn't really have a lot for units there. He's finally starting to move back into bioproduction, but it's been a while before he's been able to get that done. Sase, of course, finishing up his Twilight Council now, so we can continue with 2-2 as soon as that 1-1 finishes up.
And the observer makes its way into the main base, sees 4th barracks, does not see a 3rd command center though. So that's going to be a little bit misleading to what's actually going on here for Taeja.
And Sase is taking his 3rd, so pretty predictable stuff. He's going to have nice 2-2 upgrades started here in just a moment, but Taeja coming through and dropping off to the side, trying to lead those units away with his factory. It looks like they are going to head back just in time, though, and they will be there to defend. Not too much damage going to be done here. Taeja, of course, is going to need to pick up.
Yeah, he picks up, gets out without really any losses. A Marine does fall down there, which we do see, but we do have a 3rd base down for Sase. And this is actually where it gets pretty intense for Sase. He needs to defend on multiple fronts, on the natural, on the 3rd base, and if he does continue to defend on multiple fronts, he will have an upgrade lead. Look at it, already 2-2 on the way.
And Taeja actually dropped out of his medevac just so he could decide to pick off those observers. What great play from him there. Sase, though, has a very powerful army. That's the real advantage of the strategy. He's already well into 2-2 upgrades, so we can see they're almost halfway done, and +2 weapons, +2 armor only just now started for Taeja. So Sase, if he's able to pull this off, is going to have a staggeringly powerful army to attack in a bit.
And we do see Taeja dropping on that natural again here, and there's only a couple of Zealots there, but with 5, they're going to get filtered through a little bit. With Sorka reinforcements, he will be okay, and Taeja will have to evacuate.
Oh, that's a good gain for Sase, though. Round of applause from the crowd, and it's just what he needed at that stage. Being able to defend those drops, you have to stay defensive with this. You don't have a ton of units out there until you're actually fully saturated on that 3rd base. But the army for Sase continues to advance forward. 2-2 almost finished. A couple Colossi already out there.
Sase's played this out rather well so far. He hasn't taken any damage from any of these drops. He has his 3rd base up and running. He's going to take the gases there in a couple of seconds. But right now, we do see the Templar Archives coming down.
That's
the
right.
Zealot charge is finishing as well. And with 2-2 almost completed, a 3-3 will start immediately.
Yeah, and he did actually only build one Colossus. Take back what I said before a little bit. Because his opponent is now preparing with Vikings with +1 weapons for his air, with just a few High Templar with Storm or Archons, it's going to largely negate anything that he does through the air. But of course, Taeja picks off another Observer. That's 3 for 3 there. And of course, he does have Ghost Academy coming up, so he's preparing for all late game tech options.
Another Observer is being made here by Sase. Does have one with his army anyway. But so far, so good for Sase. Getting Storm, needs to get those 3-3 upgrades rolling because he's gone double forge. He needs to get them going simply because Taeja's already chasing down with 2-2 and will be going into 3-3 of his own very shortly here. And it always is nice as a Protoss player to have that little advantage in terms of upgrades, to be able to power punch a lot more with the Colossus, with the Zealots charging through with their +3 armor, of course. The revelation of the High Templar, though, comes in as now the Ghost Academy Mobius reactor is being researched. So Ghost will be entering the field shortly, and they'll be looking definitely to bring down those High Templar as fast as they can.
You mentioned needing that upgrade advantage. There's such a sweet time after 3-3 is finished up when a Protoss is sitting on a max army and a ton of gateways, and you can just replenish it so quickly, but still have that critical upgrade advantage for about 30 to 40 seconds if he's very diligent about pushing ahead. And did Taeja see another Observer here? No, okay, he's just sending a few Marines off to the side.
Off to the side here to pull Sase a little bit to the left. Meanwhile, the main army of Taeja is south. He's not really going to be able to get anything done here. Storm is about to finish, and there is a High Templar available, but a few units make their way to the natural as well.
Of course, Taeja does see the full army. Oh, wow, actually picking off a lot of workers. Sase trying to turn after this army, but Taeja's already done some pretty good damage here. But now Taeja sees exactly what the army composition is. He knows that there's not that many Colossi, and he knows he has to prepare with a lot of Ghosts.
20 workers killed throughout this game. Pretty good, but look at this. Sase making a movement across the map. 3-3 not quite done. The Viking and Ghost count is okay at the moment. I mean, there's 3 Viking, which is fine for a single Colossus, but there's 3 Ghosts. Sase has 4 fully ready, loaded High Templar, and it's going to come down to this kind of one engagement.
Oh, he immediately runs up the ramp, and he loses 2 of the Templar to just a couple of Ghosts, so Taeja swinging that back into his favor as well. Looks like a few Zealots were thinking about taking out that 4th. Ooh, Taeja does eat most of a Storm there. Is pretty effective from Sase, but all these Zealots, they were trapped around the side, and immediately the Colossus is going to fall, and most of the Zealots along with that.
The Colossus remains alive to the very last moment. They're getting a lot of damage done. Feedback's going on to the Medivacs, and Sase is pushing through good force fields there. A better Storm on top of that as well. Is Sase going to break through? Look at the amount of Medivacs, though, as Taeja weathers the Storm and is now pushing Sase back. Sase 3-3 not quite done, and unfortunately for him, that assault did not work, and Taeja takes another step forward towards the semi-final.
And that's exactly when Taeja wanted him to attack. He was on even upgrades with his opponent. He had Ghosts. He had everything prepared for the single Colossus that was sitting there as well. Sase played right into Taeja's hands, and Taeja is at an enormous advantage in this game with that 4th base down, with his opponent sitting back and trying to remake whatever army he can. Taeja is looking so good.
Yeah, Taeja's beautiful snipes on those Ghosts really eliminated it. He had a few seconds within a Storm there at the start of the engagement, but the rest of it was just neglected, and that's excellent from Taeja to be able to do something like that always against these high-level Protoss players, and it is a magical thing to see him consistently pull off as we now have a few High Templar remaining to continue the Storms. Are we going to see the same level of snipes? Well, we'll have to find out now as he makes his movement towards this 3rd base.
It's a lot of charge lots, but look at that. He even keeps the Ghost in there long enough to pick off the Templar to make sure he won't take any unnecessary damage and throws down an EMP on most of the charge lots to begin with. Look at that. He completely evades the first Storm. The second one hardly hits anything. He's got a perfect surround on the rest of the forces from Sase. There goes the Colossus, and with it, may go Sase's chances in this tournament.
Very good play from Taeja.
GG. And Taeja advances 2-0. 3 Korean Terran players have entered. 3 Korean Terran players advance into the semifinals. Sase is out now, but Taeja looks so strong.
The Korean domination continues here in Valencia. Taeja with an excellent play, excellent series, and well, he picks up a great victory as Taeja makes his way out of the booth.
That's
Congratulations to Taeja with that excellent series.